Today, let's talk about City of Ember, Chapter 20. So we finished book last week, so this will be our last discussion on City of Ember. So Lina and Dune arrived at this beautiful place after escaping from the ruined civilization City of Ember, and they accidentally found this book written by a woman who previously lived in this beautiful land. And amazingly, a long time ago, this land used to be a ruined civilization and ruined city as well. And she escaped from this land and went to City of Amber, uh, which means that this land used to be just like City of Amber. So it's really surprising because if humans do not make wise decisions, even beautiful landscape can turn into a completely ruined civilization as well. So this reminds us how important for us to make wise decisions, and we have to be careful about our actions on the environment. So to keep the nature and preserve the nature that we have, our efforts are required, and then we have to do the businesses, and we have to do everything in a sustainable way. So we are surrounded by bright and beautiful landscape, but then we should not take it for granted, because if we do not make the efforts to preserve it, it can deteriorate into a ruined civilization. So this is a chilling reminder that if we do not appreciate what we have, we might be faced with a dystopian society, just like City of Amber. Yeah. And then I asked you to come up with why you like this book, um, and then your favorite part of the book. And then my favorite part of the book was the thrills and suspense that the book gave me. So I think the author had a very fascinating way of unfolding each secret and each clue. So in the beginning of the novel, in the very first chapter, it talks about how the generations of mayors have hidden this item into the basement, and then that piques our curiosity, and then that's very intriguing. So that sort of kept my curiosity going. And then after that, many time have passed, and Lina's grandmother is showing very strange behavior, and she talks about this precious item, which refers to the item that the mayors have been hiding. So this keeps captivating the readers, and then this keeps intriguing the readers. So I found this book very thrilling and then very interesting. Also, the most interesting part of the novel was how Lina revealed each secret in the instruction. The instruction is rubbed, has been rubbed, so some of it is illegible, but then Lina kept trying, and then she figured out the instruction one by one. And then whenever each revelation was brought about, I was really excited, and then that kept me anticipating for what's going to happen next. So it's very enjoyable, and then I was sort of on the edge of my seat for every chapter that I was reading. Yeah, and then the most important lesson that I learned while reading this novel, it's very obvious, but then it sort of touched me because those two protagonists, those two main characters, they never gave up while trying to escape from the city. So many things, many horrible things happened to them. First of all, Lina's grandma passed away, and then they were caught by the guards and then the mayor, so they kept pursuing them. They're the most powerful people in the city, and that must have been a great pressure, immense pressure on those teenagers, but they didn't give up. Uh, and then especially they were given these instructions, but then it was very hard to decode them. It was very hard to decipher them. If I were them, I would have given up already, because from just like little letters, how could you come up with an entire instruction? But then they completed the task of deciphering the difficult instructions, and they continued to push forward despite all the dangers and uncertainty. So that this is sort of opposite to my personality. I have this tendency to give up easily. So when difficult situations arise, I try to think of the ways to avoid it. So I learned, although the protagonists were teenagers, I learned from them. So even when the situations look really grim, when the odds are stacked against them, they kept trying. So I thought that, well, if I don't give up and then if I keep trying, then eventually I will be rewarded with success and I will be rewarded with an exit from a difficult situation. I sort of got this courage to overcome any hurdle, even if the situation seems very grim and then very daunting. Yeah, so this was a good read, and now we are moving on to our next book. And then our next book is also very interesting. So let's look forward to reading that book as well. Okay, thank you so much for listening to this one.